I'm Rob Wheely, and I'm the CEO of Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists. We're the world's largest provider of wheel refinishing, remanufacturing, and wheel replacement. My dad was a car enthusiast, always working on cars of his own and new projects. That passed down to me, and it still grows with me today. Wheels have become the jewelry of the car. People want their wheels to look nice. We provide basic refinishing of wheels. We have remanufacturing facilities that provide extensive repair. We also have put all of our processes through an independent facility that's accredited. You can find those certifications on our website. We do it all. You bring your wheel to us and we'll figure it out. We strive for not just customer service experience, but customer excellence. We want to wow them so they come back each and every time. All of our technicians are trained and certified. We even have a master training course. It's important to love what you do. It's important to make employees feel a part of the team, and they're seeing the same rewards as you do. That's what helps us accomplish our goal. Everybody's our customer. The retail public, dealerships, body shops, insurance companies, warranty companies. We have a claims department. We're the ones that they call to come in and repair it. So if you find yourself in need of wheel refinishing, wheel repair, wheel replacement, or if you just want to custom color your wheels, give us a call. We'll help you find the right location, or you can go to our website. There's a locator on there to find the location closest to you.
Hello everybody, welcome into the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series live on Ghost Racing Network, getting ready to go green in the Irish Hills for the Michigan 200, and it is going to be another great one if you are just tuning in. Appreciate you being here, joining me, Austin Green, up in the booth as always. And drivers are currently gridding up, getting ready to get this thing underway. So let's get started with our pre-race ceremonies. Taking a look at the race info. First thing that probably catches your eye tonight is looks a little misty on track, doesn't it? Well, that is because we're running 96% humidity here today. We'll see if that affects the drivers at all. Not sure that it will. Just going to make the broadcast look a little bit more fuzzy. Weather outside, 72, cloudy skies, winds at 7 miles an hour. It is, of course, the Michigan 200. Going to be 100 laps tonight, 100% fuel as always. 3 sets of tires, no fast repairs, open setups, and 3 green-white checkers. Break down your actual track that we're at. Michigan, high bank, very fast, D-shaped oval coming in at exactly 2 miles in length. Track temp starting us out today is going to be 89 degrees. So that should help handling, and I think that's going to make, especially these restarts, a lot more racy. But guys are going to be able to work multiple lines, top, middle, and bottom. And, of course, even with the cool track temps, tires are still going to be important. And I think having a set left at the end of this thing, if we get a late caution, could be the winning strategy. All right, let's get into your starting grid. How about Sean Kaltenbach for Team Watson Racing getting a pole here tonight? To his outside is going to be Jared Bundy. Third starts Jeff Marble, Joshua Watson to his outside. And fourth, Brian Curry. Fifth, Alan Pajari to his outside. And sixth, row 4 is going to be Tyler Marble and Brian Watson. And rounding out your top 10, Austin Fitzgerald and Adrian Watts. Jeff Barnes making a return tonight, starts in 11th. Tracy Powers 12th. Matthew Cox in 13th with Andrew Niedert in 14th. Bill Benedict starts in 15th. Brandon Ishkanen to his outside in 16th. Jeffrey Souza 17th. Brian Conklin in 18th. Rounding out your top 20 is going to be Todd Shiro and Jacob Musso. Thomas O'Hara starts in 21st. Ryan Shiro 22nd. Cody Colley in 23rd. Kyle Oakley 24th. Scott Glasso 25th. Richard Elliott in 26th. Danny Gutierrez 27th. Jeff Shutt 28th. Cody Richardson starts 29th. Cody Matthews rounds out your top 30. Andrew Kotska starts 31st. Brandon Bikey in 32nd. Ryan Haynes 33rd. Brett Spod 34th. Johnny McCulchuk and Glenn Grigsby making up row 18. And Christopher Hall going to be rounding out the field for your 37 cars here tonight. Going to go green right away here. Pace car, the lights are off. As always, we have our one parade one parade lap, excuse me, and we're ready to go. And we are getting down under a handful of races now until we hit the playoffs here for the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series. So every track we head to now is going to get more and more crucial for guys on the bubble. Guys looking to get more wins. Joshua Watson can make it double digits tonight with 10. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Michigan. First lap in the books is going to go to Sean Kaltenbach out to an early lead, but just behind him, Jared Bundy hanging strong on the outside. And I think we could see some guys that maybe we're not used to seeing up at the front the whole race really have a good shot at it here tonight. Again, multiple groups, you already see them get working, but the draft here in Michigan is so strong, especially with these next gens. It's going to be hard for these guys to break away from each other. At the same time, you still got to make sure you're saving at least a little bit of tire because you're going to need it late in the run. But hey, there's a good look. 4 lanes worth a difference there between Joshua Watson, Alan Pajari, Jeff Marble, and Brian Curry. You had one on the bottom, one in the middle, one in the third, and one all the way by the wall. Now, we did have the truck race here on Wednesday, and it seemed like the fastest lane for the most part for that race was up top. You can make a couple things work in the third lane. Didn't really see any body wrap in the bottom, and we're not seeing that so far here tonight. A couple guys further towards the back, maybe giving it a shot. Cody Colley is already going in the positive direction. Richard Elliott currently sits in 27 down just from where he started, but it is early. He might be one of the guys saving a little tire, carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. And he's rocking some Ghost Racing Network merch. Got the purple green logo t-shirt with the JBR E-Racing logo as well. 2 top 10s on the season. Very well could make it 3 tonight as he is going to get clear of Jeff Shutt in the 27. Cody Richardson. See how they feel about their package here at the 2-mile tracks. And you know, you got to kind of expect in the sense that anybody who was fast at Auto Club is going to have a pretty fast hot rod here tonight. And so I think the 2 guys that I'm looking at besides Joshua Watson, of course, would be Alan Pajari and Tyler Marble. You see Pajari already there in 4th. Tyler Marble, you're going to have to go a bit further back, just outside the top 10 in 11th right now. He's still fighting pretty hard to get some track position. But when he gets it, keep an eye on him. He could have a very, very strong Chevy Camaro here tonight. Back up front, they have single filed it out. And you see Watson going to try to dip a lane lower. He wants to get a little bit cleaner air on the nose. Jared Bundy up top. And we're not really going to know until this first run is over which line is abusing the tires more. You know, you kind of would assume the top, you're carrying more momentum, you're sliding around a little bit more. The bottom, you kind of try to roll shorter way around the track. But you carry so much momentum down the straightaways that I just think most of the passes that we're going to see, especially on restarts tonight, you're really going to want to make sure you stay in the top line as high as you can go. Going to give you more momentum on those straights. But Sean Kaltenbach for Team Watson Racing looking very strong. He brought a confident setup here today. 2 wins on the season, tied for the second most, where he'd like to go for number 3 here tonight. Jared Bundy talked about just behind him. Qualifying efforts have continued to get more and more impressive for Jared Bundy, and he takes advantage of them. You know, if you qualify in the front, you know you're going to be able to run up in the front at least for a little while, and the more practice you get, the longer you're going to be able to run up towards the front. Adrian Watson, the 03 car, still looking for his first win on the season. Brian Watson just behind him in 7th, already up a position from where he started. He's another one of the guys carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. Take a look at the speeds some of these guys are going to get. Michigan is probably the fastest track, I would say, that we're going to head to in total throughout the season. Of course, the top speeds here are going to be faster than what you see at Daytona, Talladega, but then they do make up for that by getting a little bit slower through the corners. On the next restart, we'll have to look at the throttle traces to see just if these guys are able to run wide open around the top on the first couple laps. I'm thinking it's going to be a little too loose to do so. But these next gens, they have a lot of grip, a lot of downforce, so it might be. We'll have to see. Further up front, here's Jared Bundy. Look at the speed. It's going to almost, if not crack, 200 right here, 199. Almost 200 miles an hour entering turn 1. Already 8 laps complete. Joshua Watson searching for some grip on the inside. Not going to have the momentum. He's going to have to side draft Jared Bundy depending on how badly he wants this position. Not going to play too aggressive right now. Jumps right back in line in front of Alan Pajari. His teammate Adrian Watts sees Pajari slip up just a little bit. He tries to take advantage of both of them. Couldn't do it just yet, but now he's going to see if he can complete the move here coming out of turn 4. Let's take a ride on board with one of these guys. How about Jeff Marble? Seeing what he sees through all this chaos. Hey, look at the wheel. He's working it, but I got to be honest, it looks really smooth right now. These guys are set to go 40 to 45 laps on fuel based off what we've heard from Johnny McCulloch. And I got to believe that they should be able to make it that length on tires. Not going to be 100% sure until, of course, we see those first stops. But I would certainly believe that you can make it 40 to 45 laps on a set of tires. It's just going to be really, really loose towards the end. Maybe tight, depending on the way that the balance of your car swings on the long run. But Sean Kaltenbach started on the pole, and he has led them all since we started. Joe Williamson in the chat says, go Danny G. Danny Gutierrez talked about the new paint scheme he had rocking last week. Currently in the field, sitting a little bit further back, towards the back of the pack right now, 28th position. And you see these guys, they're hitting the rev limiter. Not really so much limiter, they're revving it out on the back and front straightaways. And, you know, guys, they'll set it up, right? I mean, maybe you can trim it out for a little bit more top speed by raising that rev limiter just a little bit higher. But if you lower it that tiny bit, I think it helps everybody over the long run. You got to think of it this way. When your car starts to get a little bit slower through the turns, you want to be able to... Oh, man, Cody Colley, big moment. Wow, he had to save it. The 11 car got really, really loose on the bottom. He was trying to run really close to that yellow line, and that's the price you're going to pay doing it. Does not work out too well, and I don't know if he's going to risk venturing that low again. You see where his left side tires are right now, just above that first seam. That's the lowest you could go, man. He wiggled big time again. Cody already starting to struggle with his handling a little bit. And it looks like he is choosing not to jump up in front of Jeff Shutt. He's thinking about it. But back off into the corner. There you go. That's a little bit better line. I like seeing Cody run up there, but oh, man. Looking big time. Joshua Watson, wow. Boy, we must have missed something in the couple laps here back. We got a big traffic jam up front, and we have 2 new leaders. Joshua Watson out of nowhere with his teammate Adrian Watts take it away from Sean Kaltenbach. Not sure if Kaltenbach slipped up or if all of a sudden they just got a lot faster than the 2 machine. He is now back to third. Pajari on the bottom. You see Curry trying to push. Jeff Marble thought about maybe taking that 3 wide, but he's just going to go ahead and back it off, give these guys a little space. I think if you can stay up in the draft right now, the main focus is just make sure you're keeping up with Adrian Watts and Joshua Watson. And if you can do that, don't push it any harder. Again, it feels really fast. The racing is great here in Michigan. It's very tempting to go all out from the green, but you don't want to if you're looking towards the long run game. You're going to need those tires. Jared Bundy is still doing a good job of hanging on into the top 5 right now. Tyler Marble's still trapped on the bottom. In fact, to be honest, I'm surprised that we still have guys running the bottom this deep into the run. I mean, we're 15 laps in, and that's a good enough amount of laps here at a track like Michigan. Those tires, they're starting to wear out a little bit. Not sure how long everybody's going to stay committed to either the top or bottom. One of these lanes will have to give eventually. But clean air speaks volumes. But before we talk about that, Jeff Barnes talked about making his return tonight. Down in position currently from where he started. Make it 2 now. It's Matthew Cox is going to go by, but still not a bad run. Finds himself in 13th. Jeffrey Souza, one of his teammates, sitting just behind him. Those are 2 of the Triad Racing Enterprise drivers. Jeffrey, 4 top 10s on the season, and there has been a couple of them where I really thought he had what he needed to get the win. Hasn't quite been able to get the job done yet. But again, just continue to build up that momentum little by little wherever you can get it. Watson still leads the way. Adrian Watts putting on pressure. but it doesn't look like he really wants to pass him too bad. I mean, I was in the race here on Wednesday, and I was working with somebody later in the race, and I kind of tried the same strategy. I mean, we both kind of agreed, hey, let's see if we can pull away from the rest of the field here a little bit. Don't push the issue. Let's not burn our stuff up. And then once we get into it a little bit, then we can get a little racy. These two have the lead. They're going to be hard to pass. No point in pushing it any more than they need to right now. Watts will get a little run on the straightaways, try to give his teammate a little bit of a push, maybe an arrow push if he can't quite get to the bumper. And then in the corners, he just backs it up, maybe searches around for a little bit of clean air. There's Brian Curry in the 28. Got his second win of the season just a couple weeks ago. So we got one guy that's pretty much pulled away from the field. Here's 3 wide. First time we're seeing this tonight, but I can promise you won't be the last. Jeff Marble on the bottom. He's got his teammate Tyler. And Tyler's going to try to go with him here. They're both trying to get around Brian Watson, who is currently trapped in the middle. Austin Fitzgerald up in the top line. Oh, we got one almost around. Man, these guys are all fanning out now to save it. 3, 4 wide. Everybody's going to have to shuffle back up eventually. Can they all give each other enough room? And, man, they're still trying to save it. We had one on the apron, and that was Bill Benedict. He does hold on, but he is going to lose a lot of positions and potentially the draft now after that. That all started with, I thought it was somebody, either Alan Pajari or somebody right near Alan Pajari. Maybe Austin Fitzgerald, somebody, Jared Bundy, couldn't tell who it was, had a little bit of a slip up. Almost hit the outside wall, and then they were just fanning out to try to avoid wrecking, which they did. But it's definitely going to break things up a little bit here. Two teammates continue to stay bumper to bumper. Now, you know, Adrian Watts is going to help his teammate now, but he is searching for his first win of the season. He's seen one of the other rookies do it in Matthew Cox, and he's been arguably just as fast as the one car for most of the season since he made his debut. He's another guy, though, that just hasn't been able to find himself in the right spot at the right times. Had a couple of close calls. Had one at Kansas where, man, it looked really close, like he was going to get it. Got wrecked on the last lap. Nothing could be done about it then. And here's Brian Curry flexing some muscle already, looking like he's got maybe a long run car. Once he put the pedal down, he got right to the back bumper of Joshua Watson. And now he's looking to see if he can get up top of the 01. A little bit of a tough move to pull off here. You try to get as much momentum possible before you exit forward, but if you don't get enough, you get a little out of shape, and then it becomes a handful to hold on to. Niedert's going to dive down low on Brian Watson. It's one of the Team Watson Racing drivers, so you know they've got some fast setups here tonight with 3 of their guys inside the top 5 right now. Excuse me, inside the top 10. And looking at the chopper view, Jeff Marble still in front of his teammate Tyler Marble. He thought about jumping to the inside right there. Jumps back up. Tyler cuts him a little bit of room. And just like that, we are already a 5th of the way through this race. Flying by. These guys are ticking off pretty fast laps. In fact, there you go. 38, 8, 39s now. Tire fall is pretty big, so we'll have to see what those lap times are if we were to get a caution. And I don't know if we have seen a complete race this season that has went green the entire way yet. Michigan could certainly be one of those tonight. Just depends on everything pans out. If we can get to the first green flag pit stop, and that'll separate everybody, I think then we can keep it clean for the rest of the way. You know, we talked about how important that draft was at the start, and you see it here. But we got one in the wall. Jeffrey Souza up top. He's going to have to hold it there until everybody goes by. He does so without any incident. Austin Fitzgerald may have got a little loose. He's now on the bottom. Matthew Cox going to take it to the middle. Ooh, little bumper tag going on right there as the 74 is going to move up. Does he go all the way up? Sure enough, he does, in front of Kyle Oakley. And Oakley's starting to advance his way through the field. He was in the truck race, and it seemed like maybe he had pushed his tires a little bit too much too early. But that's the benefit that you gain by running the truck race. Seems like he learned from it, and he's utilizing what he learned tonight so far. One of the guys carrying the onboard cam had a rough week last week after a great start to the race. And he is now to the inside of Austin Fitzgerald. You can see which guys are starting to struggle and which guys are starting to prevail here on the inside. Matthew Cox using that apron. You can do that here at Michigan. No out of bounds. You can go all the way to the inside wall of the grass, whatever you want. Well, not the grass on the front stretch, but on the back stretch. If you really wanted, you could go all the way down to the wall. Sometimes you set up a big run, you got to dive as low as possible. That is when the apron can be important to use. The 19 of Brandon Ishkanen is having a good run so far. How about 5 top 10s for Brandon already? Again, hasn't ran that many races in comparison to the season as a lot of other guys. But he is one of the Team Watson Racing drivers. And of course, every single other driver on the team has a win so far except for him. Now granted, he did join a lot later than they did, but as he pushes his teammate Matthew Cox through here. And actually, I'll tell you what. Let's go up here. You know, I wonder if Matthew Cox, did he switch teams potentially? We had him down for Team Watson Racing, but I think I see maybe a BMP logo on the side of that car. Can't tell for sure. That could be a storyline we'll have to keep an eye on. Maybe sitting here talking to a wall thinking that Matthew Cox, with his 1 win, is still on Team Watson Racing. Certainly thought he was to start. And meanwhile, up front, we got a battle for the lead. Here's Jeff Marble looking to the inside of Joshua Watson. Those two have been 1-2 for most of the season in the regular season points battle. Watson was able to pull away a little bit after his great performance last week. Jeff knows that he has to come out and perform here tonight, and he's doing so with the help of his teammate Brian Curry following this bottom line. We'll see how long Josh can defend up top. I was going to say he's got 2 options here. You either try to pin him down as low as you can, or you send it in as high as you can and hope that you can really get the momentum working down the straightaway. Looks like he put it on his door that time as Brian Curry here. He comes on the bottom 3 wide. Trying to get up to Jeff Marble's right rear, left rear, but he's not going to be able to do it. So he stays 3 wide with Tyler Marble and Adrian Watts. These guys are starting to get on old tires. I'll tell you what, Tyler Marble cannot be feeling comfortable in the middle. I know I sure wouldn't be. Real easy to get loose, and you don't really get much room to save it. Here's a look at Tyler. Watch him work the wheel here through turns 3 and 4. He finally gets back clear to the bottom. That's going to make his job a little bit easier. As, wow, he gets really low. Jeff Marble slips up. He had to bail out of the throttle as he almost made contact with your leader, Joshua Watson. And just like that, the Team Marble iRacing teammates, they are going to switch positions. Tyler now in front of Jeff and battling for the lead. Jeff slips back to 3rd, but he's going to get a push from Brian Curry. Just going to take him about a lap or 2 to work that momentum back up. I think he'll be okay, though. Looking back at the cockpit view, Tyler Marble takes the lead. Watson, though, is not going to give it up. Big side draft here down the backstretch. He's going to have to try a little bit of a slide job here in turn 3. We'll see if he can pull it off. Yep, Marble's not going to run him overly aggressive, but watch for a crossover here down the front stretch. Watson slides up, and just like that, Marble has the lead for about or the back straightaway, but doesn't have it coming out of turn 4. These two trying to create a little bit of separation. They are side by side just behind them with Jeff Marble and Brian Curry, who is now going to fall back. Oh, contact between him and Adrian Watts. We have seen a lot of door rubbing so far here tonight, guys, trying to lean on each other, getting every little last bit of grip that they can get out of their car. And hey, you've heard, I think it's Dale Jr. says it most, 8 tires are going to stick a lot better than 4. Joe Williamson says, nice colors on the Watts car. And then how many sets of tires tonight? 3 sets of tires, not including the ones they started on. So they have 3 additional. Basically 4 sets of tires, but we call it 3 because they'll only have 3 to take. Just about to be 30 laps in, still gone caution free. And I'll tell you what, if we continue at this rate, we will be seeing green flag pit stops here somewhere between 11 and 16 laps from now. Alan Pajari had a great restart, had a couple mistakes. I think that's the only reason that he is back outside of the top 10 right now. In fact, he actually is 10th. I take that back. Kyle Oakley fighting with him. He's going to look to the outside right here. There's Brian Conklin in the 37 car. Just below him, the 14 of Jeff Barnes. Looking to see if he can get a run. And Brandon Bikey already up 13 positions from where he started. That is one of the BMP Racing drivers. Tell you what, the slide job has seemed to be the most effective maneuver so far tonight. We have seen Joshua Watson execute it to perfection already once. But what we are seeing is a lot of lanes working, and I got to think that that's probably just a product of that cooler track temp. We started out at 89 degrees for track temp. It is still the same. Currently in sim time, it is being shown as 430, winds at 7 miles an hour. And those cloudy skies definitely providing for quite a bit of grip. So you got a 3-car breakaway in battle for the lead. You can throw them all under a blanket. JBR Racing versus Team Marble iRacing. The father and son duo, the two Marbles. Looks like Jeff may be struggling a little bit more right now. Surprised to see it because we know how good he normally is in the long runs. And the speed's still there right now for the 15 car, but he just doesn't really look comfortable. He looks like he needs to maybe get something adjusted, tighten it up a little bit more, because it seems like it is really swinging free so far on the long run. We'll see if maybe he's just making some mistakes with the line he's running, and if he can get that back set up and back together. Joshua Watson on the outside, looking to the inside. Again goes Tyler Marble, trying to make it work. Tyler still on the inside, door to door here. You know, Jeff Marble's going to try to give some assistance to his teammates, so they're going to go ahead and stay side by side right here. Tyler still looking to the inside. Joshua Watson still on the outside. These two can probably only go toe-to-toe for so long. Something is going to have to give eventually. Hey, looks like we're having a couple of technical difficulties. We're going to get them sorted out. Take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stick with us on Ghost Racing Network.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing. Ghost Racing.
Back live at Michigan International Speedway, and we still have a fight for the leads and a fight for the lead, and in fact, we still have almost 10 cars up here battling for it. Tyler Marble takes it back away from Joshua Watson. Now, what's really caught my eye is look at the gap that this first pack has made between themselves and the rest of the field. I mean, it is absurd. Looking on the track map doesn't do it enough justice, but you can certainly see it in the camera view. Watch here, as they're exiting 4, the other group is pretty much just entering 3. So every single one of these guys in the front pack right now, they've got really good fast handling race cars, and it just continues to be a battle of who wants to lead more, who can get in the clean air. Watson lost it, and now he's going to fall back to 3rd as Brian Curry give a big push to Tyler Marble. Curry's trying to make it work up top. Does Josh think about sliding up in front of the 28 here? I think he has to cut off that momentum. And sure enough, he's going to, nope, stays to the inside. I take that back. And the 03 of Adrian Watts now goes side by side with Brian Curry. Wow, that's a slide job. We'll see if he can make that one stick all the way to the apron. Tyler Marble stayed up top, and the momentum is just not there. I can't believe how Watson just continues to almost at command. He'll just send it into the turn, and he just gets clear without competition. I mean, sooner or later, Tyler or whoever's up there battling is going to have to try something different to keep the 01 from just getting clear that easy. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you try to pin him down in the corner so that he has to lift, bail out of it. Maybe he gets loose, or try to run some more throttle by running a lane higher. I'm not sure, but Tyler's going to have to make some sort of adjustment. He seems like he might have the better car, although it's hard to say. But Watson just kind of will let him go if they're racing side by side for too long. And as soon as he goes by the next lap, all of a sudden Watson finds himself back in the lead. There's some momentum carrying down the straightaway, looking towards the back. Yellow flag is out. Who's the issue with here? Scott Glasso was just coming out of the pits. And I was going to say, we were just actually at the point of starting pit stops. Brandon Ishkanen has been the guy with problems here. And still looking for Brandon. Again, not sure where he had been running. Down 12 from where he started now. Oh, heavy damage to the right side of the 19 car. Not sure what happened here. So let's go take a look on that note. On the front straightaway, oh, there's contact. That's Cody Richardson on the bottom. And are things just going to kind of close up here until there's just no room left? It certainly looks that way. And the blimp cam, unfortunately, not going to be too useful tonight. Chopper still is, though. Oh, yeah, Cody coming up big time. You know, there might have been a slight bit of echo before they touched, but I got to say that I think with confidence here, they were going to hit each other. Yeah, I just don't see any way Cody drives off that, but maybe he does. So we'll go ahead and chalk it down as the netcode that it was, and then eventually once that netcode kind of gets both guys, then they touch after that. And the 46 and the 19 just kind of, well, the 46 gets away unscathed. It's going to be the 19 and the 17 of Kyle Oakley who goes spinning. Brian Watson tags with 17 on the front nose. I think Oakley and Brandon are both going to get the worst of it. Yeah, that was just hard racing. We were just getting ready to go back and read your lineup, take a look at all these guys. They were not in the lead pack, but still fighting for track position in case we were to get a restart like the one that we're about to have here. Yeah, that's just a tough break for Brandon. Nothing he could do. Innocent victim. We've been talking about the good runs he's been having. This is going to set him back. And again, no fast repairs. Michigan is one of the tracks when we head to it, you really want to have as much aero as you possibly can. And that's definitely going to hurt the 19's aero being on the front and as bad as it is on the front right. Let's see how competitive that car still is here. Back up front, Joshua Watson led them all down to the pits. We're going to have to see who wins the race out of the pits, and if anybody decides to stay out, it certainly would catch me off guard. We did have some guys, though, that came down to the pits right as, if not just before the caution flew. Still going to have another pit stop from here if we weren't to have a caution. But now they're almost halfway. Guys should be able to make it to about lap 80, maybe 85. I think more like 85 here because they're going to have a couple laps to save. And then they'll make that final stop for about 15 laps worth of fuel. Maybe 2 tires. It's going to be one of those things where you have to kind of decide based on how much fuel you have to take. Is it worth taking the 4 tires, or do you risk it and try some strategy? Wouldn't be too surprised if we saw somebody like Joshua Watson try some strategy. Again, he's got nothing to lose. He's ready to go ahead and just go for that 10th win here tonight. And if it doesn't work out, oh well. You can move right on to next week and have another great shot at it. Going to go through your running order here from back to front. We already got a couple guys a lap down. Cody Colley currently sits in the pits. He must have some issues. Doesn't look like, oh no, the 11 car does have a little bit of damage on the right side, it looks like. Not sure what he got hit from. But yeah, a couple scuffs and dents. Ryan Haynes in 36th position. Scott Glasso in 35th. Brett Spod 34th. Andrew Kotska 33rd. Jared Bundy sits in 34th. First car currently being scored a lap down. He's looking for that lucky dog position. He is going to have to battle Brett Spod. Looks like maybe Andrew Kotska and Scott Glasso, I think, for the lucky dog position. Brandon Ishkanen falling way back. Cody Richardson in 30th position now. Austin Fitzgerald 29th. There's Kyle Oakley involved in that last accident. He comes back out in 28th. Alan Pajari 27th. Christopher Hall in 26th. Glenn Grigsby 25th. Cody Matthews 24th. Todd Shiro 23rd. Sean Kaltenbach 21st. Johnny McCulchuk first car, inside your top 20. He's already up 15 too from where he started. Good run so far for Johnny. Thomas O'Hara 19th. Bill Benedict 18th, Danny Gutierrez in 17th, Tracy Powers 16th, Jeff Barnes in 15th, Jeffrey Souza in 14th, Brian Conklin 13th, Brian Watson 12th, Ryan Shiro in 11th, Jeff Shutt 10th. Getting inside your top 10, Tyler Marble 9th, Brandon Bikey in 8th, Jacob Musso 7th, Jeff Marble in 6th, Joshua Watson 5th, Top 5, Adrian Watts in 5th, Adrian Watts 4th, Matthew Cox in 3rd, Brian Curry 2nd, and Andrew Neidhart, who was literally in the pits as the caution flew. Strategy worked out perfectly for him. We'll see what the two Team Watson Racing drivers could do with the front row locked up. Do they try to play some strategy here? Maybe like we see at Super Speedways, try to keep both lanes clogged up? Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to do that. I think this is still going to be a race. Maybe just a little bit more of a giving each other room kind of race between the teammates. But you know none of these guys behind them are going to give them any room. They are ready to get right back to action, and so are we up here. 42 of 100 laps complete, almost to the halfway mark. Green flag is back in the air at Michigan. Good restart from Andrew Neidhart. You saw Brian Curry, though. He's going to go down and try to side draft his teammate on the right rear just a little bit. Here comes the push from the bottom line. Matthew Cox trying to get the back bumper of Neidhart. All Neidhart needs to do here is get clear out of 2 before Brian can carry the momentum. Brian slips a little bit, has to bail out of the throttle. That's all Andrew needed, and sure enough, he is going to tuck in as your leader. We'll see how long Brian Curry decides to play nice. That time he decided to stick behind him. And the general teammate agreement here might be, hey, I'll give you a lap or 2. We'll see what you can do. If you got a faster car than me, then go ahead and have it. But if I'm on that back bumper for 2 laps, then I'm going to go ahead and have to get a little racy here. There's Joshua Watson on the bottom of Jeff Marble. Both him and Tyler Marble are trying to make their way back to the front, working on that inside line. You would think the inside would be the fastest lane, especially on new tires. It hasn't been that friendly all in all tonight, though. Joshua Watson has been the only guy that we've really seen making the slide job work as well as anybody. But everybody still continue to dart around looking for any positions that they can. Before we get too deep into this thing and too crazy, got a little crank it up from the Irish Hills of Michigan. Here we go. And that's going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. Hope everybody did enjoy. As always, Neidhart continues to fend off his teammate, but that might be by design too. It seems like Curry could definitely press the issue here if he wants, but he's chosen not to so far. He's got to be careful that one of the rookies, Matthew Cox, doesn't try to make the jump on him first. There goes Adrian Watts to the inside. Joshua Watson is going to get up to his back bumper, try to give him a shove. Can't quite make it work just yet. Jeff Marble still on the outside with Tyler Marble. And so right now it is 2 teammates for 3 different teams all running in this lead pack. And then you got Matthew Cox, who's kind of a straggler all by himself. Brandon Bikey is trying to catch this pack. There's the 13 Toyota Camry. He leads kind of a single file line, more single file at least than what we're seeing up front. And if we look at the track map, most of the field is still together at this point. Looks like Ryan Haynes, Brandon Ishkinen, some of these guys that are lapped down. Actually, I take that back. Brandon Ishkinen is getting ready to lose a lap here. He is the only guy that's really by himself right now, and not at least within viewing distance of the front pack. He needs a caution, and he needs one soon, but I just don't know if he's going to get one, as we are now officially halfway through the Michigan 200 for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series, presented by the Alloy Wheel Repair Specialist. Jeff out here did the broadcast on Wednesday. I had a chance to watch it today. Jeff's getting really good at it. Good to see him out there. We always enjoy watching the commentary. Again, if you want to get yourself in on one of these truck races, that's a good league. Get yourself started in. All you got to do is hop in the Discord, which we left the link for you. And who knows? Get a couple months in maybe, and you could get yourself a promotion up here to the Cup Series. Join one of these big teams, such as JBR E-Racing, Team Marble iRacing. Who knows? Possibilities can be endless. You just got to get started. Kind of work your way up from there. And they are catching the 19 car in a hurry. I think they're going to be on his back bumper and probably the next, I'd say lap or lap and a half. Jeff Marble now to the lead over Andrew Nieder. Adrian Watts still on the bottom, but have not seen many passes on the bottom. Most of them have been up in the top line. How high are you willing to run has been the only thing that guys have really had to debate over. There's Cody Richardson and Andrew Kotska. So far tonight, it just unfortunately seems like Mad Sim Racing's, I guess I'd say high-speed oval, not super speedway, but definitely the higher speed ovals, 2 mile, the fastest non-super speedways that we're going to go to. Seems like the package they brought is just not been that great so far here tonight. Not sure if it's just the balance isn't there or if the speed itself isn't there. But they're definitely struggling, and if they can't figure something out here soon, they're probably just hoping that we can get this race over pretty soon and move on. But bad news for them in the sense of next week, I believe it is indeed next week, we'll check at the end here. We head to the Brickyard. Boy, I'll tell you what, I am very, very excited for that one. I can't even tell you what to expect for the racing there. Double file in the corners, it may or may not work, but the straightaways at Indy are so long. You can pull really, really big drafts. We're going to see guys snaking around trying to break those drafts. You can probably take 3-4 lanes worth of room on the straightaways. It's going to be a fun one, and that's definitely one that if I was one of the drivers in here, I'm going to have that marked on my calendar as one that I want to win. Jeff Marble continues to fight. Adrian Watts did get to his outside, but Marble kind of tried that slide job that he saw Joshua Watson executing so well earlier. Ooh, Adrian overshoots the exit. He got into the outside wall. He's okay here, but he is going to lose probably about 5 or 6 positions. Everybody trying to go by. The 03 stays in the top line and stays side by side. And on the restarts, I think one of the things that can make that top line really dangerous on the first couple laps, even late in the run like this, is we see checkups. When everybody else is running the same line, it doesn't matter if it's the fastest. There's going to be checkups throughout that line, and there's been a lot of checkups in that middle line. So if somebody chooses to maybe risk it, go up a couple lanes higher to see if there's speed up there, I think it could very well pay off. It's just more willing of who's going to do it first. Now again, the next pit stop, expecting to come probably somewhere around lap, I would have to say 80, 85, somewhere in that range. Depending on when we had went back green though exactly. Now, I'm thinking it's going to be somewhere in the 80s. So these guys still have plenty of laps to go on this fuel, but what I am hearing is some of these guys scrubbing more tire than they'd probably like to. That is going to affect them in the long run as Jeff Marble's pulling a couple car lengths here on Andrew Nieder. Chooses not to break the draft. He is going to stay up, tucked right by the wall. He does not want anybody thinking about taking him up on the top line. He's going to force somebody to make the pass on the bottom. And that one incident so far earlier with Brandon Ishkinen has been the only caution. In fact, the only incident, for that matter, that we have seen so far here tonight. Brandon Bikey's been having a great night, and in terms of Ishkinen, he is one of the cars not on the lead lap. Got the damage fixed to the best he could, but he really needed a fast repair. Unfortunately, he just doesn't have one. Johnny McCulchuk back here in 26th position. Another one of the drivers that is carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. Took him a couple weeks to get it set up correctly, but now that he does, we get to see him. And sorry about that. We got a little technical difficulty. Go ahead and get it fixed. And there we go, just like that. The battle up front has continued to not disappoint. The only thing that's really looked different from the run, at least in terms of how it's shaping up that we saw the last green flag run, is more guys still tucked in with the draft, still in the mix, and there's so many strategies. Some of these guys in here are trying to push as hard as they can, trying to get up there to get to Jeff Marble, look for the lead. Other people in this pack are just looking to stay up here with the top group, top three, save as much tire as they can, and hope that they can find some speed late in this run. And as a driver, it's so hard to want to save tires, especially at a track that's as racy as Michigan has proven to be so far here this week. You want to make every move, take every chance that you have. But I'm telling you, an even better feeling than that is towards the end of the run when everybody else has just cooked their stuff, and you still feel like you got plenty of grip, plenty of speed, and you pretty much leave them in the dust. Andrew Nieder still in second, fending off Tyler Marble. Brian Curry has been in the top 5 for just about all the night. But Neidhart is still your biggest mover in the top 10. Actually, he's tied up 12 from where he started. I take that back. Brandon Bikey's up 24 from where he started. And then, of course, Andrew is tied right now with the 20 car of Ryan Shiro. Currently sits in the 10th position as well. Got one merging their way back on the pit road. I believe that's Thomas O'Hara. Not sure if he had issues. Definitely would be way too early to be considering a pit stop. Something in the 07 must have had an issue, or maybe he's trying a different strategy here. I mean, I know, I guess if you decide to pit now, that strategy wouldn't work. You know, sometimes we see where the strategies will be split between either pitting once, maybe saving a little bit, or pitting twice and running really hard. But I still don't see that really working for the 07, because the rest of the field's only going to have to pit once. And he just pit there. He'd still have to pit again. But, of course, when he lost that lap, you can throw any of what I just said out the window, because it's not going to matter anymore until he can find a way to get that lap back. The new tires are going to help him get there, though. So you got Jeff Marble still leading, Tyler Marble second, Andrew Nieder at third, Brian Curry fourth, Joshua Watson fifth. Tyler's going to try the slide job on his dad. Couldn't quite make it work. He has to go back down to the bottom. You can tell they're racing each other very respectful. Caution is out. Looks like it is for Jacob Musso, who we just saw. And he spun around. Looks like he's going to go ahead and tow that thing right to the pits. And I'll tell you what, this is another incident that Cody Richardson has found himself in the worst area to be, right on the inside of it. But I don't think he's going to actually get involved in it this time, which is going to help. Let's see how this all starts. Getting down into turn 3. Everybody looks okay at this point. Ooh, looks like Musso gets a little bit loose. And then as he's trying to save it, just drives slightly back up the track. And that overcorrection is a brutal, brutal hit. And a couple guys that came along just absolutely T-boned him. They just had nowhere to go. And that's going to create a lot more problems for a lot more cars. Here you go. Boom. That's a huge hit. I think Danny Gutierrez, sure enough, was the other car involved. And then a couple other guys that just trying to sneak through. Wow. Oh, my goodness. I cannot believe Cody Matthews made it through there without hitting anything. Let's take a couple more looks. Yeah, and I got to think that that's going to be a day ender, almost guaranteeably for Jacob Musso. That was heavy damage. You saw the suspension, the tethers that were holding it together all just rip apart. Front end completely gone, hood gone, smoke out the back. Jacob had a pretty good run going in the truck race. Was having a good run up here inside the top 15, top 10 for most of the nights. Fortunately, that is also going to come to an end now. On the other hand, doors opening up, opportunity for some of these guys to try something different. Looks like Jeffrey Souza is now being scored as your leader. Sean Kaltenbach in second. Jeff Marble third, Tyler Marble fourth, and Andrew Nieder rounding out your top 5. Let's go ahead and go 5 more positions on that note. Joshua Watson 6th, Brandon Bikey in 7th, Matthew Cox 8th, Brian Curry 9th, and Adrian Watts currently rounding out your top 10. Looking to get the 1 to go signal this next time. We are going to go ahead and... No, I take that back. We're going to hold off on the commercial break. For now, we'll stick with these guys, and instead, let's see if we can get an interview here with Sean Kaltenbach, see how he's feeling about his chances. back live at Talladega Super Speedway, and it took me a minute to find him to get him up here. Either way, Sean Kaltenbach, you got a copy?
Yep.
Well, it looks like we just heard here that unfortunately you had to come back down because you forgot to take your tires. But we saw you get the pole of the race. The car's looking fast, but man, falling back that track position, it looks like it's been tough to fight back. What's the game plan here the rest of the way?
Well, I don't know at this point. With that little glitch there, only changing one side of tires, I had to come back in, but the first run I was just way too loose, and I kind of just had to back out of it, or I was going to end up wrecking myself or somebody else. I just kind of rode around, wait to make an adjustment. But I don't know if it's either going to be run hard to get as much track position as I can, hope for yellow, or run it out, just kind of try to conserve tire.
All right, sounds like a interesting strategy. I'm going to let you go because I know you guys are getting ready to go back green. Don't want to mess you up. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck the rest of the way.
I appreciate it.
And hopefully I didn't mess Sean up there. Didn't mean to cut him off. But we had business to attend to up front, and so did he, because the green flag is back in the air. 63 laps complete at Michigan, 37 to go. We are going to crown a winner at some point. Question now is just, who is it going to be? The 96 of Jeffrey Souza on the bottom does not get the best restart in comparison to Jeff Marble. Sends it down into turn one. I think we're going to see guys start to get a little bit more aggressive at the absolute least now. Again, no more scheduled pit stops. From here to the finish is less than 40 laps, and the earliest pit stop that we saw on the one, not really full green flag stop, what we saw a couple guys have was around lap 39. 39 laps complete on sets of tires. So yeah, these guys all should be good to go, but it could be interesting. Do you commit to the saving tire strategy, maybe give up some track position now in the hopes that it goes green the rest of the way and you can make it back at the end, or do you just burn the tires off here if you got a set left over, hope we get another caution, and then go ahead and take your final set? I was always a guy that likes to err on the side of caution. I think more of these guys are going to favor saving a little bit of tire, but the top two especially, they don't look like they're trying that strategy too well. Jeff Marble is trying everything he can to hold off Andrew Nieder, working that second outside seam, third lane up now, off on exit. Joshua Watson sitting right behind Brandon Bikey, who continues to impress tonight, up to 5th, now up 27 from where he started. Could he maybe find himself in victory lane for the first time this season? Brian Curry, a couple battles going on right here. The battles just continue. The further back you go, Austin Fitzgerald. Been a little surprised that, I feel like I expected at least to see a little bit more out of him than what we've seen here tonight. Nothing that he's necessarily been doing wrong, just the speed maybe hasn't quite been there so far tonight for the 74 car. And he's not going to have any time to make another adjustment if we don't get a caution. Richard Elliott now up 7, though, from where he started. This is a good turnaround for the 02 car, up inside the top 20 now in 19th, as he jumps back up in front of Todd Shiro. Of course, Daytona coming up in a few weeks for these guys. Going to be the final race in the regular season before we head to the playoffs. Joshua Watson maybe kissed the wall there out of turn 2. He's going to check up. That allows a couple guys to go by him. Looks like Brian Curry and Brandon Bikey going to try to follow. But with Daytona coming up in a few weeks, you do not want your chances to come solely down to that race, because anything can happen, and it tends to usually get pretty chaotic and pretty crazy under the lights at the World Center of Racing. But a couple interesting tracks for that. Again, Indy, nothing too interesting about it. It is a very fun track, though, nonetheless, and it is going to be one of the crown jewels in a certain sense. But then we had to do a road course in Watkins Glen. You know, I know we're going to see our road course specialist, Tyler Marble, got to win at the only other road course we were at this season, which was indeed Sonoma. We'll see if he can make it back-to-back road course wins. Maybe go for the sweep later in the season, where I think the last road course that we head to is the Charlotte Roval. That's going to be an interesting track for these guys. Let's see how they run there. Marble takes another position as he jumps up into 3rd in front of Jeffrey Souza. Going to be completing lap 70 next time. Already starting to run out of time. Going to be 30 laps to go. We are going to take another side-by-side break. Stick with us, you won't miss a thing.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, or the scary side of iRacing.
Back live here at Michigan International Speedway for the Michigan 200. Jeff Marble still out in front. Man, they are getting extremely racy behind, though. Andrew Neidhart is trying to fend off about 3 different challengers, and Jeffrey Souza, Tyler Marble, and Joshua Watson. Patience starts to run thin. Here's a big dive from Jeffrey Souza. Can he pull off this move? Looks like he's not going to be able to yet. He's going to have to try to slide up right in between the 15 and the 36. No, he's not going to be able to do it, and that's going to cost him a couple positions as the outside line comes roaring by. Joshua Watson with a big push delivered to the back bumper of Tyler Marble. And, I mean, I'm telling you, as racy as these guys are, you have got to expect that their tires are going to fall off really heavy once they eventually do. And that anybody towards the back that maybe saves some tire is going to be in that prime position, the catbird seat, to make moves late. So we're seeing a ton of racing now. I don't think necessarily the guys you see up front right now are locked in and going to be the only guys that we see up front the rest of the way. And as I say that, it's not going to matter. Caution is out. Looking for who was involved on this one. Haven't been able to identify the culprit just yet. Let's go back and take a look. And we're going to have to look around the track, do a little bit of searching here because I could not find it. Take a look from this view first, see if we see anything anywhere. Oh, there you go. There's your spinner. Richard Elliott did not even see that on the initial, any of the camera angles we had. Looks like it was a harmless spin for Richard. In that case, that's a heck of a save. Not spinning out any worse. I think he was going to get some help. First, take a ride on the cockpit, though. Watch the spin here. And that was the last wreck. I apologize for that. I'm not sure why I went back to that one. I was sitting there wondering, like, should have spun by now. There you go. And I think that might have been Sean Kaltenbach behind him. Richard does a great job of keeping it off the wall and preventing himself. I don't think he'll have any damage. I think he'll be good to pretty much keep going. Of course, he'll come in and maybe repair whatever he did get from the little bit of contact right here. Ooh, yeah, they get together. It looked to me like, does Richard come down a little bit? Does Sean come up? It's a little close, a little hard to tell. It looks like maybe Richard is just, and I mean just slightly coming down from that view. You know, Sean Kaltenbach may have been trying to get a side draft, and it just kind of sucked him into his car. But again, it's one of those no harm, no foul wrecks. Nobody gets involved. The O2 just goes for a 360, gets right back rolling, slaps some tires on it, and we will be right back to the great racing that we have seen so far. But this is where it gets exciting now because we're going to go green with probably closer to 20 laps to go. Not sure who all has a tire set left and if you risk taking it yet or not. If somehow, again, I don't see this being the case. I was going to say, if somehow you still have 2 tire sets left, absolutely you come in right here and take them. But thinking most of these guys either have one or none left. Gonna assume most of them would have one, and if you do have one, I like the idea of if you think there's going to be another caution, wait and try to save them until we get a caution anytime within the last, I would say 15 laps. 15 laps or less, you got to get that last set on if you want enough time to still make it back to the front. But I'll tell you what, Jeff Marble looks like he has had a ton of speed on not only the short run, or not only the long run like we're used to seeing, but also on the short run here tonight. I want to ask him about his car. Let's see if we can bring him up here. Hey Jeff, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good. Well, I just get a quick word from here. I know you're getting ready to go, man. It's been phenomenal racing when we've seen it so far here tonight. Got to ask you two things. First of all, do you have a set of tires left? And also, what's the game plan about how quick do you get racy here, and how do you save some tire?
There's no saving tire because you got to go. It's the fight for the clean air. Yeah, a lot of us have a set of sneakers in the pits still, so I ain't gonna lie, I'm about ready to puke all over myself. I'm so nervous right now.
Hey, it's all right. Calm down. You look great tonight. You look fast. You're looking nice and smooth on camera. We'll keep it on you. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you, sir.
And man, for a guy that's got to win this season as good as Jeff is, to hear him say he's nervous, my goodness, that tells you just how aggressive and fierce the racing's been tonight. And I don't know if I could tell you the last race we had where the racing was this door-to-door, this close, for pretty much the entirety of the race, as of course it's been here tonight. But if you're Jeff, you still got plenty of time here. Still, don't do anything too crazy. Don't mess yourself up. Gotta play it smooth. Oh. What has happened here? And it looks like, has the internet dropped us? I think it has. And never mind, we're back. Apologies about that. Green flag is back in the air. These guys just entering turn one. Tyler Marble on the inside. Jeff Marble on the outside. Gonna stay side by side back in rows 3 and 4, but up front, the first two guys looking to get away. Brian Curry, though, he looks to the inside. There's that big move down on the bottom, almost like a dive bomb, but not really because he makes it stick. Tyler Marble on the inside almost gets up into Brian Curry. Brian Curry has to check up. Brandon Bike is getting a lot of contact from Joshua Watson. He gets set on the line. These guys are bumping and banging all over each other. Back bumpers, front bumpers, doors. Oh, my goodness. Everybody's still trying to get things sorted out. 24, 3 laps to go now, and it looked like those last 2 laps they're wrecking out back. This could be the big one. How many guys it's going to collect? Oh, we got a couple on the inside. They're going to go around. Looks like one of them might have been Alan Pajari. And sure enough, it was. The 34 comes to a sliding stop. Can't tell how much damage the 34 has. Doesn't look too bad. I think he actually just spun around a couple times. And right before we do indeed go back to check out this caution, anybody watching tonight, I know there was another little hiccup there, but let me know if the video itself still looks okay and how the sound looks. Had some pretty bad storms rolling through tonight, and the internet's been hanging on for dear life. I'm not sure. I think we might have had a little sputter, but here we go. Let's back this all the way up. In fact, let's see if we can take a better idea of where this is going to first start. I mean, in a nice way, it was kind of just a big cluster going on here in the center of the field. And, ooh, the 27 of Jeff Shutt, the first one to go around. Whose nose is it going to be off of? Was it the 4 of Scott Glasso? Sure enough, it is. And, oh, yeah, it looks like the 27 just gets loose on the bottom. There was no room for him to really gather it up. Right here, he's loose. Scott Glasso's there. And there's the slight, man, maybe he comes up a little bit. Hard to tell from that view if he got loose or came up, but then him and Scott Glasso get together. He goes for a slide. There goes Sean Kaltenbach. And everybody else just trying to dodge and weave around. In fact, let's view that from the cockpit view and see if it looks like Jeff just gets a little bit loose. Yeah, I think that's just the car traveling up the track a little bit. Not much that he can do this late in the race. You're kind of committed. You're trying what you can try. And then there's Alan Pajari getting collected late in it. .34 had made it by the initial wreck. And there is another one of the guys spinning. That might have been Kyle Oakley. Yeah, it was. Okay, so Kyle's going to get the worst of it here with the front end damage. Going to hurt the run he was having. So as we go back live, 21 laps to go, man. It is really right at that window on whether or not you pit right here. I almost think maybe since you stayed out on the last one, you stayed out on this one too. And I only say that because we only ran about a lap and a half on the set of tires that these guys have been on now, at least under that last restart. Let me put it that way. So I don't think a lap and a half more is enough to go ahead and say get these tires yet. Now, any caution from this point on, maybe 5 laps, I would say. Actually, 5 laps from now, any caution from 15 to go on, you got to get in and get those last set of tires. I know that track position has been the main thing everybody's been fighting for tonight, but the tires, they're going to make a big difference, especially with the wear that some of these guys have on their tires. But Jeff Marble still going to be scored as your leader here. He was able to fend him off for that lap and a half. Brian Curry in second, Brandon Bikey in third, Tyler Marble fourth, Marble third, Bikey fourth, Matthew Cox in fifth, Joshua Watson sixth, Ryan Shiro in seventh, and Cody Richardson rounding out row 4. Lights are going to go off, so we are indeed going to go green this time. Let's take a look at the announcements just in case we don't get a chance to take a look at them here in a little bit. Next place we head to here on Ghost Racing Network is to Tuesday Night Thunder tomorrow night, the Xfinity Series at Talladega Super Speedway. Money on the line, and of course, the very important points battle, all going to be heavy payouts at the end of the season. Don't miss out, even if you're just checking in with us. We always appreciate the company. Now, the more important picture to look at is the playoff picture here for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series, as we are closing in with 3 or 4 races remaining here, including the one tonight, so going to be 3 after tonight. Joshua Watson still leads on playoff points. Tyler Marble second. Jeff Marble third. But the thing that everybody's really keeping an eye on is kind of around that bubble. You take a look at Tracy Powers, Jerry Isaacs, Johnny McCulchuk, and Jeff Shutt. All those guys have just had fluctuating nights. I couldn't tell you which ones I think are going to be in and which ones I think are going to be out. 6 on up is locked in currently. So is Andrew Niedert. So looking good for those guys. But yeah, still plenty of spots for guys to have a chance of getting locked in for the season. And then as we mentioned earlier, one of the guys looking for a milestone win here tonight would be Joshua Watson. Could make it his 10th win on the season here tonight if he can find a way to get the job done. Pace car takes the hard left turn. Jeffrey Marble rolling back up to the Geico restart zone with Brian Curry. We are back racing, 19 laps to go at Michigan. Jeff Marble gets a good start, but this time Brian Curry's able to hang pretty even with him. No push from either of the second row guys. They beat and bang a little bit into turn 1. Curry's going to try everything in his power to get clear right here. I think he's got a fast car if he can get a clean air, but Jeff Marble was able to hang right on his quarter panel and hang with him. They are going to drag race down the backstretch. There's the momentum for the outside. Brandon Bikey now up to third. Where did he come from? And as those guys start to sort it out, so does everybody else out back. Looks like a lot of 2 wide, couple of 3 wide rows. But we had one on the wall back there. Who was that? Whoever it was. So it might have been the 38 of Christopher Hall. I haven't talked about Chris tonight. Does a good job there collecting it. 5 top 10s on the season. Caution is out. Let's see what this one's for. Oh, there you have it. We got one spun around. I think that's Brian Conklin. Sure enough, it is. And it's going to end in some more bad luck for Brian tonight. Been the story of his season. Just cannot catch a break. That's going to put us with our 5th caution here of the night. Let's go back and take a look. Does he get some help? Yep, sure enough. Off the front bumper there of, I believe that was Tracy Powers. most of the wrecks tonight have been pretty innocent spins, which is really surprising. You just don't see that much in Michigan. Fast speeds, usually a lot of hard hits. And yeah, it was Tracy. Now, does Brian come down here? Does Tracy come up, or is it some net code? Oh, looks like from that view, Tracy comes up just a little bit. Does not take much. He may have been trying to side draft. Not sure if he thought he was clear what the deal was. Watch. 25. Yeah, 37 maybe at the end just slightly moves, but it looks to me like the 25 had been going up the track a little bit, kind of consistently right there, and just gets in the 37. He's going to go for a loop, and then actually 2 loops. Comes for a slide. Wow, that was a pretty close call for some of these guys, just barely missing him as he started to slide back up on track. But they do miss him nonetheless. Jeff Marble still being scored as your leader. I got to be honest, I'm taking the tires here, but I think a lot of these guys still are choosing not to. Yeah, and so far no pit stops. We'll see if we get any right here. This is the chance. If you want the tires, you got to go in. Brian Curry trying to fake somebody out. No, he's not going to take it. Let's look back. Who's the first one to take it? Is that Sean Kaltenbach? No, can't tell who that is that's currently sitting on the pits. That's going to be, oh, that's the 08 of Danny Gutierrez. I'll tell you what, the haze tonight has definitely made it a little bit harder to tell who's who. I know these guys keep it realistic weather, but it's been a little bit unfortunate for the broadcast. Tonight where we've seen the best racing, still been good to see, but visibility has definitely been down a little bit, and you missed it earlier. There's the weather on the side. Humidity 96%. Boy, you do not see that often. 4% away from, we may not have been able to broadcast, but we wouldn't have been able to see the cars. Track temp has cooled down a bit since the start, now at 84, as in sim time now it is approaching 5:30. Wind still at 7 miles an hour. So with the no pit stops up front, it is still going to be Jeff Marble, Brandon Bikey, though now up to second. Brian Curry third, Matthew Cox fourth, Joshua Watson in fifth. Let's see if we can maybe pull up one more interview here for the night. Let's see if we can find Brandon Bikey. Yeah, sure enough. Let's see if we can get a quick word with him here. And real quick before we do bring him up here, from what I'm looking at, it looks like Brandon Bikey, who initially I was going to say I thought was another Team Watson Racing driver. He's in the Team Watson Racing group. So still trying to sort all that out. Either way, let's see if we can get a quick word with him. Hey, Brandon, this is Austin up at the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Austin.
Well, you've been having a good run here for most of the night, but really came to life here kind of at the end. Now, kind of 2 questions for you. I asked Jeff earlier the same questions. We'll change them up a little bit. The first question I got for you is, do you have a set of tires left? And if so, at what point do you go in to take those?
I do have a set of tires left. I don't know if I'm going to take them, to be honest.
All right, well, track position has been king, so not too surprised there. The other question I got for you here is, everybody has been fighting so hard for that clean air tonight. Both lanes have seemed even at different times, but there's got to be something that can make one guy better than the rest. And what's that something, and how are you going to find it right here to get yourself to lead and see if you can lead these last 14 laps?
No, I think it's all going to be who can save their tires here, especially if we don't pit again. I've been really saving hard, and these guys have really been pushing it. So I think I'm sitting good. The bottom is not the place to be on the restart here, so we'll see what I can do and try to get ahead of Jeff there. But, do the best I can, try to pull a dub out.
We'll keep an eye on it, see if you can maybe go for your first win of the season, join your teammates.
Thank you, brother. You got my name right now?
Yes,
Bikey.
sir. Bikey, yep.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Can't wait to hear back the broadcast, man. You do an awesome job.
Thank you. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
And some of you are probably wondering, if you watched last week, saying, why is he saying it different this week? Brandon let me know I was not saying it correctly, and I've never wanted to get mad when these guys tell me how to pronounce their last name. He had told me how to pronounce it at the start of the season. I might have got it right for a couple weeks, but then sometimes with the big fields, and I do so many broadcasts a week sometimes, it gets hard to remember it. But we have definitely got it right tonight, and hopefully going forward. Brandon Bikey starting on the inside of row 1, up 30 positions from where he started tonight. Would be the hardest charger already. Make it an even harder charger if he could get the win, up 31 from where he would start. Green flag is back in the air. 14 laps to go now at Michigan. Joshua Watson to the inside, goes 3 wide. That caught Brian Curry off guard. And caution is back out. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. We got a parking lot over here the end of the front stretch into turn 1. I'm not sure if the pace car is going to be able to get on the track. And he's still praying that he can get through the wreck unscathed right here. My goodness. Cody Matthews, heavy damage. Looks like Richard Elliott was involved. His left side's a little banged up. Did not want to see a caution as early as we saw right there because the racing had been phenomenal, but we see it, and let's see what happens. And the blimp cam might somewhat work for this here. Let's see if we can get... Oh, wow. It's going to start up there with Todd Shiro, so we'll go ahead and pinpoint the 3 car and go to the chopper. And it looks like he gets turned. They were... Well, we saw a couple guys go through wide. I guess I should throw that out there now. And, you know, you might have a couple more. Eventually, there was a lane that it just really wasn't meant to be. Let's watch this from the start. Check up on the outside line. All right, Andrew Nieder checks up. Now you got guys diving low. Glenn Grigsby had Adrian Watts to his inside right here. So after that checkup, we'll play it slower here. Watts is going to dive to the inside of Grigsby. Grigsby, I think, sees this big checkup, or does he get a little... Yeah, no, Grigsby sees the big checkup, and I think Adrian Watts actually had tried to check up a little bit, but he gets a shot in the back from Alan Pajari. That kind of sets him just slightly to the right into Glenn Grigsby. Back down, they get into the 3 of Todd Shiro, up into Jeffrey Souza, and this is where things are going to get messy. Rest of the field, nowhere to go. Complete traffic jam. Wow, those were 2 big hits on the bottom line. I think one of those guys may have been Brett Spod. Yeah, that's going to be damage that is not fixable. Give you a couple more views of it here. Watch the 35. He's going to take a big hit, him and somebody else. And yeah, he gets turned by the 08 of Danny Gutierrez, and it's a good thing we're in virtual cars, man. That would have hurt. One more angle of it right here. And look at everybody trying to bob and weave. Surely somebody had to make it through that. In fact, let's take a look back at the chopper view. I'm sure we can find somebody that has a pretty cool in-car camera for that one. Pajari doesn't quite sneak through. The 07 of Thomas O'Hara, maybe. Looked like he got through that. Maybe just slight contact with somebody. But it definitely doesn't look like he got any heavy damage, especially since it shows him still out on track. Here you go, the cockpit of the 07. Oh, actually does tag Glenn Grigsby to take that back. Yeah, it's a decent shot. Oh, and then he makes more contact with the Jared Bundy. So that's a front end that's going to need some repair. There's Scott Glasso on the pits. That wreck's going to probably take out at least a handful of guys. You got to remember, with smoke coming out of your car in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series, that means your night is done because you don't have a fast repair. So you go to the pits. That's going to be probably at least 20, 30 minutes worth of required repairs. Going to have to put a new engine in it. And then plus all the optional 12 laps to go. Just not going to be enough time to really get back out on track if you're smoking. Brett Spod says the 39 of Ryan Haynes got through it. Let's see if we can take a look. Ryan, usually one of the guys carried an onboard camera. Doesn't look like he is tonight. But we're about to ride on board with him anyway. Here we go. See how this looked. Oh, and he was a little bit further back. So, yeah, so he sees the chaos unfolding. He's going to start checking up. Sees the parking lot. Going to dive low. Good to go. A little bit lower. Back up high. Well, he had to go slow, but he made it through it all. Nice job for Ryan Haynes. Back live. Speaking of Ryan Haynes, he currently finds himself in the 29th position. Still up 4 from where he started. Looking to make it a positive day in at least some form. Already got the 1 to go signal. Pace car is ready to go back green. This is going to be a 10 to go restart. And every lap that we continue to get a caution makes it less and less likely that anybody comes down to take tires. And unless they did and I missed something, I don't know if anybody's going to take tires from this point. In fact, yeah, we'll take a look at it. And it's looking like the only guys that pit under that caution were guys with damage. So at this point, everybody feels like track position is just way too important to go in for tires. Watson, third on the inside row. Keep an eye on him. He went 3 wide on the last restart. We'll see if he tries it again. Matthew Cox, second on the top. Tyler Marble just behind him. Cody Richardson, where did he come from? Night has not been great, but he has managed to turn it around. Johnny McCulchuk, a lot of fresh faces up here in the top 10, top 5, looking to go for their first wins of the season. Cody already has one, but a lot of these other guys certainly look to see if they can get one. All right, here we go. 10 laps to go from Michigan. Green flag is back in the air. Another good restart here. Watson, he got another jump, but this time he's going to give a shove. Ooh, maybe a little bit of a missed shift there from Brian Curry. That causes another little bit of a stack up. This time, though, everybody's going to stay clean as they all send it down into turn 1. Marble still able to hang side by side with Bike. That is going to allow the 15 to get clear. Matthew Cox, though, he's thinking about 3 wide. Those guys trying not to make any contact. Got to be real careful right here. Into turn 3, couple 4 wide moves, or at least a couple looks towards 4 wide. Tyler Marble on the top line. He's got a big run with Joshua Watson. Surely one of those guys take the run to the middle. None of them do yet. Everybody wants to stay glued up top. Jeff Marble's going to make sure he stays there. Bikey, excuse me, I did say Bike the last time, but Bikey is trying to make his way clear. Jump up inside the outside line somewhere, but he just can't find anywhere to do it yet. Oh, man, some contact between him and Joshua Watson. They bump and bang. Both able to save it. Tyler Marble wants to see any racing he can see in his mirrors. He tries to catch Matthew Cox and his teammate Jeff Marble. Meanwhile, Matthew's going to go ahead and send it in on the leader. He's going to have to go for a side draft right here on Jeff. There it is. He is trying to get every little piece, every little advantage that he can get down the front stretch. And it's going to work. Now he gets even. He's going to slide job it here through turns 1 and 2. Can he make it clear? Almost. He's got out in front by just a little bit. He's got to slide up now. He can't complete it. Marble has to bail as he almost hits the wall. It's going to turn the one in front of Jeff Marble. Oh, no. Jeff Marble has spun around, and he is not happy right now. I cannot read lips, but he is not too happy right now. Had the lead. I think Matthew Cox made a move that he probably had to try to complete a little bit sooner than he did, but he just couldn't quite do it. And Jeff Marble was the man that got the worst of it, the bad end of the stick. Gets it back rolling, but yeah, it's heavy damage. His chances of getting the second one of the season tonight are going to come to an end. Matthew Cox also had heavy damage. Let's go back and take a look at it. And, you know, Matthew had gotten clear, not by much, but right about this point. You see right here, it's borderline. I think he's clear, but I feel like as a driver, that's where you got to make that decision. You either commit and hope for the best, or you stay to the inside here, which he may have tried to do. You see the one starts to slide up. Jeff going up, and now the one still sliding up. Still sliding up. Jeff's going to go up a little bit higher. One says, okay, got a little bit more room, comes up a little bit more. There's going to be some contact at some point. Oh. Look like Jeff may have made some contact with the outside wall. And now you got to remember, Michigan's not one of those tracks where you can risk really bouncing off the wall. If you hit the wall here, it's a hard hit. It's going to damage your car. So Jeff already getting squeezed up a little tight here. He's got to try to keep it off the wall. And I don't know if he makes contact, but, you know, Cox was so close to him at the time that there's just really no room here. As soon as Jeff Marble tags the wall, comes off of it by not even maybe a foot, but Cox is so close that it puts the 15's left front into his right rear. You know, I think that's, at the end of the day, I know it's frustrating, but it looks like two guys just going really hard for it. If maybe the one leaves Jeff a little bit more room there, if Jeff doesn't hit the wall, I think they're fine too, but it's still a tough break for both of those guys who had winning cars, very fast cars, and somehow everybody else is going to miss. Bill Benedict actually looks like he doesn't. Did he hit the inside wall? He may have. Let's take two more views of it here. Nope, Bill's going to be able to get it straightened out just before the inside wall. Good save for the most part for Bill. Let's ride on board, though, so you can see what Jeff Marble saw. And this is what makes it so hard as a driver. It looks a lot closer in the car than it does on the broadcast. That you got to realize. And we'll slow down right here. If I'm Jeff Marble, I am saying to myself, I mean, look at it from that view. It looks like he's going to go into the wall. And from that view, it does look like Matthew Cox has him really, really tight. And there's just not much of a lane there. Hard racing, but ends two really good cars this day. Rest is history. Good news for both guys that they do have a win. Both going to be going to the playoffs. Well, actually, I don't think, I take that back. Jeff Marble is. Matthew Cox, I believe he doesn't have enough starts on the season, so he will not. Pace lights are off on the pace car. 1 to go signal. And all of a sudden, the door has reopened again for Joshua Watson and Tyler Marble. These two guys have had their fair shares of duels. And one of those duels was at a track very similar to Michigan. Talked about it earlier in the broadcast, Auto Club. Both of these guys were very, very fast there. Tyler had a shot at the end, couldn't quite make it happen. That's where Alan Pajari got his first and only win of the season. Going to be a 4 to go restart. If we get a caution in those first 3 laps here on this restart, we will rack them up and go into overtime. However, if we can make it to the white flag, then this race will be official. If you're just tuning in tonight, we appreciate you being here watching the Michigan 200. Things seem to have gotten a little messy at the end, but that's just the nature of the beast with how aggressive the racing is here at Michigan. And again, hoping that that's our last caution, because I really like to see these guys get another 3 or 4 laps of phenomenal racing in, which they can do here. Still a lot of guys inside that top 10 that could potentially get their first win of the season. Adrian Watts back in 9th. Johnny McCulchuk even in 10th. Everybody in your top 5 does already have one on the season. Make it top 7. Tracy Powers, what can he do from 8th, 4th row? We're going to find out. Green flag is back in the air. 4 laps to go at Michigan. Side by side for your 2 leaders. Does Joshua Watson try the slide move that he's been making work so well? You try to drive the guy up as high as you can. Enter the corner almost as late as you can, and then dive it all the way to the bottom. Try to get clear on exit, but you can see Watson, I think he knew that he wasn't going to be able to make it work that time, so he kind of backed off. He's going to focus more on trying to stay as close to Tyler Marble as he can. But Marble gets clear. Plenty clear down in turn 3. In fact, so did Brian Curry, but he washed up a little bit. Watson's going to jump in, and he's going to jump right up to the top line. Oh, there's contact. They're going to wreck Cody Richardson and Austin Fitzgerald. A couple of them sliding across the grass. We got a couple of them coming back up. And this is going to be the second big one. Matthew Cox, he's not going to slide through. Richard Elliott's in it. So is Todd Shiro, Andrew Kotska. We still got guys in the grass. This one's another mess. Eighth caution of the night with 3 to go, and it is indeed going to send us into overtime. Let's go back and take a look at what's going to happen here. And it looked like from the initial view, at least from the live view, that Cody had came up on Austin Fitzgerald. Not sure if there was anything else that initiated. Oh, there might be some contact here that initiates it. See if we can get an angle from the chopper view. The 0-3, that's Adrian Watts. Oh, yeah, yep, sure enough, there's contact. Adrian Watts gets to the right, just the right rear, kind of that corner where the quarter panel and the bumper meets of Cody Richardson. That turns Cody, nothing Cody could do. That turns Cody straight up into Austin Fitzgerald. Those two get collected. Sean Kaltbach to the wall, and then they're just all going to start wrecking from here. Just about nobody was probably safe through that one. That was a big, big wreck here on the front stretch. Let's take a couple more angles from a couple different guys here. Tracy Powers, when he comes back up, that's where it really collects a bunch more. Brandon Bikey was in it. You saw Matthew Cox was trying everything to squeeze through the gap that he thought was there. Unfortunately, that gap had closed up pretty quick and no longer was there. Let's see if we can get an onboard view here actually with Matthew Cox through this. As a driver, you have that split-second decision, either slow down or try to make it through it here. And he stays in the throttle. He's going to try to make it through it, brakes, but just too late. Now he's just trying to shoot through it. Boy, the sea's almost parted for him, but not quite. He's going to take another big hit right here. And maybe one more shot. Nope, Sean Kaltenbach just narrowly misses him. That is going to officially end the one car's day, and part of the result of that is the last incident that he was involved in, of course, with Jeff Marble when they were both running up front. So you know their nights have just gone from bad to worse. As Brett Spot says, Ryan Haynes actually made it through again. All right, well, fine by me. Let's take another look then at Ryan. See how he maneuvers his way through the second wreck now that he's missed tonight. And again, hey, safest strategy is always just to check up. Let him wreck in front of you. You certainly don't want to drive into the chaos if you don't have to. Your top 5 as they are being scored right now. Tyler Marble on the outside going to be leading us to green. Joshua Watson still on the inside. Man, that inside has been a struggle on restarts, especially late in the going, but for the most part all night. What can Joshua do here? I mean, he got a good restart last time. You know, he's probably going to try to get another good one, but if it just seems like if you can't get clear of the guy on the outside by the exit of turn 2, you just get eaten up by about 2 or 3 rows. Joshua Watson, as we noted, of course, in second. Andrew Nieder at third. Brian Curry in fourth. How about this guy? Danny Gutierrez, best looking paint scheme in the field here. And in fact, hold on, let's make sure we get a good look at this thing. Ooh, it's got some damage on the front. Doesn't make it look as good as it normally does, but there you see the 08 of Danny. Gonna see if he can get a good top 5 finish here. Up 22 from where he started. Gotta think that damage is gonna affect him here a little bit, but with only 2 to go, if he's got fresh tires, he might be okay. Austin Fitzgerald in 6th, Brian Conklin 7th, Johnny McCallchuk 8th, Jeff Barnes 9th, and Adrian Watts rounding out your top 10. And this is overtime number 1. We have 3 if we need them. Overtime rules, if we can make it 1 lap around to grab the white, race official. If not, rack them up and try it again. Pace car is going to pull off. Rolling into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. Overtime at Michigan. Good jump for Joshua Watson and Tyler Marble. Second row, it's a race to the back bumper. Brian Curry this time, he gets an even better jump. He's going to push Joshua Watson into the corner. This is going to be the 01's best shot of the night to get clear right here. We'll see if he can do it. He's going to have to really try to pull off slide down move. He gets clear for a second. Does he risk it and try to slide up? He does. Marble's going to cross him over. Back to the inside goes Tyler. But now Tyler catches himself trapped on the bottom. He almost needed to get clear the 01, but he can't quite do it. Nieder fighting down low with him. We'll see if Tyler tries the same move that Josh just pulled on him. He does. Josh is going to have to back up the corner a little bit as he washes up. Nieder now getting up into the side of the 01. Here we go. White flag one more time around Michigan. Can Tyler Marble hold on? A lot of racing going on behind him, and that's what he wants to see. That's going to allow him to pull away 2 by 2. The rest of the pack is all scattered about. Here comes another move to the inside by the 36 of Andrew Nieder. One back at Bristol. Can he win here again tonight? They get almost a little bit of contact. Joshua Watson's going to come with a big push right here to the back of Tyler Marble. No, he's not. He's going to take it 3 wide. Here's the move to the inside for Joshua Watson. The final turn at Michigan. Who's going to win it? Now the 36 bumps the 48 up the track. While they both slide, Joshua Watson's going to drive right on by. Are you kidding me? What a move on the last lap, but it's not over yet. It is. Joshua Watson's going to win it in Michigan. What a move going into turn 3. The 2 leaders were racing so hard they didn't even see Joshua Watson going to their inside. And he makes it 10 wins on the season with that one here tonight. Now, I know it only says 9, but that is not updated. It will be after this week now that he's got himself another one. Back-to-back as well, 2 in a row. He's going to get some congratulatory bumps from his JBR Racing teammates. Danny Gutierrez, hats off with that damage, was able to hang on to a top 5 finish. And man, Tyler and Andrew just getting a little too mixed up with each other there. Didn't realize what was happening. Let's go back and break this down for a second there. And all right, so this is going to start all the way off at turn 2. In fact, I want to play this with the trap cam because I think it's going to be the best to show the momentum swings that these guys went through. Right here, I thought Joshua Watson was boxed. I thought he was going to have to push Tyler Marble. He wasn't. He makes this 3-wide move to the bottom. And then right here, watch Nieder trying everything to stay in the throttle. Gets up into Tyler Marble. They're bumping and banging. Those two staying together for as long as they did just allows Watson to get clear. Some more contact. They almost wreck 4 wide at the line for second. All right, and it looks like the internet had finally given out, unfortunately, after the thunderstorms we had rolling through it. It finally gave out. I guess the good news is it was after the race was over. We do have your top 3 in for interviews. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to show the full results on screen. However, we will still indeed read them out. So let's go ahead and pull up your 3rd place finisher tonight, Andrew Niedert. Hey, Andrew, this is all set up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, crazy racing at the end. Looked like you and Tyler Marble got a little tangled up. Tell us about it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm not happy. I think I had a race-winning strategy, and I don't know, just with the side draft or something. I think netcode might have had something to do with it too. But as soon as we got near each other, I think both cars just got really tight and started going up the track. But that pretty much allowed Josh for the 10th time this season to take another one. So awesome.
Well, all in all, still a good day with the podium finish. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Just Team Watson Racing Setups. The whole team has been doing really well. I think we work really well together, and a lot of support this week. So big shout out and thank you to all of my teammates.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us. We'll see you next week.
Thanks.
We're going to pull up your 2nd place finisher, Tyler Marble. Tyler, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, I'll tell you what, it looked like you got into maybe a little bit of a scramble, I guess, if you will, there. A little bit of a scuffle at the end there with Andrew Niedert. Overall, tell us about your day and what more you think you could have needed there at the end to maybe get the win.
Overall, it was a good race here. The car felt great. Of course, I would have liked long runs there in the second half of the race, but unfortunately, it is what it is. We got to clean that up. But yeah, that last restart, I needed to push for one by Niedert there. Then he went with me on the back, which is great. I had no choice to do the slider and get the lead, and I got a little too far out, but I felt like I managed well down the front. But once we were side by side out of turn 2, it was over. That allowed somehow the 01 got to the bottom 3 wide, and luck keeps going his way. So yeah, that's what it is. Had we not touched doors, I don't know if it would have been closer, but yeah, it is what it is. We'll take P2 and move on to Indianapolis next week.
All right, before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
I like to thank teammates giving us suggestions on the setup, each other suggestions on the setup, what to do for the long run. It's sort of tricky adjusting from one side of weather to a different side of weather, so much appreciated there. I'd like to thank you for broadcasting, Sim Racer Hub, Butt Kicker, Elo Wheel Repair Specialists, Irish Thing Flag, Fast Eddies, and I keep forgetting Capital Auto Group. I thank them for sponsoring the Noble. Next race is at Darlington in a few weeks. That also starts the playoffs, so that's a big night coming up in about 4 weeks from now. So, yeah, 1 week at a time. I'd like to thank everybody again. Yeah, Indianapolis next week.
Going to be a fun one for sure. Similar to the big fast tracks that we saw tonight here with Michigan. Thanks for talking to us, and we will see you next week.
Yes, thank you.
Now we bring up your winner, Joshua Watson. Josh, this is all set up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do, bud.
Well, 10 wins on the season. I mean, at this point, I don't know if there's any race that anybody wouldn't pick you as the favorite. Ton of momentum that's going to be going into the playoffs. Back-to-back wins as well, but that last restart was wild, and you've got to break that move that you made coming to 3 and 4 down for us.
It's all, this track and this package with this car is very aero dependent. Would have liked to see what it would have done on green flag runs. We almost made green flag pit stops there. That would have allowed it to get spread out and seen what it did. Getting back in traffic, we were just trying to save tires and let those guys battle it out. And on the restart, we got a really good push from, I believe it was Curry. we were able to kind of throw the slider and stick it a little bit, but we then looked like Tyler and whoever was behind him were able to get the big run to the inside. And then once they come off at 2, I seen them get side by side, and I got another push down the back straightaway. And just when you get side by side like that, it kills your momentum, especially with nobody pushing either line there. Neither went up to side draft Tyler, and when I got the run, I just went with it and was able to stick it right to the bottom there all the way around. And I'm not sure if they got together. I haven't seen the full replay yet, but wasn't sure if it would stick for the lead being on the bottom, because the bottom really wasn't the place to be with the side draft and everything. So, I mean, it was just, that one was pure luck in the way the cards flew at the end and being able to work the draft to get the run back by him there at the end. I think, we'd have went green. I was debating because we definitely had fresh tires coming. The cautions really helped as far as that goes, but definitely not what you want to see as far as that goes. We have a lot better races with everybody, so definitely would like to see more green flag runs and whatnot. Just thankful to kind of get a little lucky there at the end.
Well, if you're going to get 10 wins, you might as well get the 10th one in style. Congrats on the win tonight. But before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
First and foremost, Tyler and Jeff for putting on the league. They got a lot on their shoulders, and they do one heck of a job running this league. So I'd like to thank them, and definitely an honor to be able to run with them in this league. Buck Kicker, Capital Auto, you guys for the broadcast Ryko setups week in and week out for the awesome setups. Everybody at JBRE Racing, all my teammates. I know they got caught up in some of that stuff today. We were strong all week in officials and knew that we could have a good shot tonight. So can't thank them enough. Family and friends. And like I said, probably forgetting somebody, but just thank you to everybody that makes this possible and everybody's support. And you for the awesome broadcast week in and week out.
Well, thank you for talking to us. We will see you next week at Indy. See if you can go for number 11, maybe.
Thank you.
Joshua Watson. So, unfortunately, due to that internet outage we had after the race, I can't physically show the results as we were not able to rejoin the session. However, looking at your results, Joshua Watson did get the win tonight. Tyler Marble 2nd. Andrew Nieder 3rd. Brian Curry in 4th. Danny Gutierrez in 5th. Johnny McCulchuk 6th. Adrian Watson 7th. Austin Fitzgerald 8th. Jeff Shutt 9th. Jared Bundy rounding out your top 10. It's going to be Jeff Barnes finishing 11th. Brian Conklin 12th. Bill Benedict 13th. Ryan Haynes 14th. Todd Shiro in 15th. Thomas O'Hara 16th. Glenn Grigsby in 17th. Richard Elliott in 18th. Christopher Hall 19th. Jeff Marble in 20th. Cody Richardson 21st. Jeffrey Souza 22nd. Andrew Kotska finishes 23rd. Ryan Shiro 24th. Matthew Cox in 25th. Tracy Powers 26th. Sean Kaltenbach in 27th. Brandon Bikey in 28th. Brian Watson 29th. Scott Glasser rounding out your top 30. Cody Matthews 31st. Alan Pajari 32nd. Kyle Oakley 33rd. Brett Spot 34th. Brandon Ishkanen in 35th. Jacob Musso 36th. And Cody Colley rounding out the field tonight for 37 cars. Again, I know we had a couple, mainly just the one hiccup tonight with the internet issue. Again, do apologize for that. Just hoping that it was just the storms that were rolling through. Either way, I hope everybody that watched did enjoy. It was a good race. Got a little messy there towards the end, but the finish was phenomenal. Did not disappoint. Congrats to Joshua Watson. Next week, we are off to the Brickyard for some Indy Oval racing action. Make sure you check in. It's going to be a fun one. And until next week, have a good night.